Alright, so what's up everybody, it's Bree back with another video. And this video I'm going to be talking about my baby, Mamiya M645. This is not my first medium format film camera, but it's my first 120 medium format film camera. In this video I'm just going to be talking about my experience with the camera and what I recommended, which, spoilers, I definitely would recommend it. So I've had this camera for a little over a year. I bought this camera in March of 2020. And as I'm recording this right now, it's May 2021. So yeah, I've had this for a little over a year, and I got it for $350. I believe the price is still around there. If it might have fluctuated a little bit, but I did buy it from a wonderful girl on OfferUp. So the pros about this camera is not too heavy. Originally when I was looking to get this camera, I was also looking at the Mamiya RB or RZ67, which is another medium format camera that shoots in the 6.7 format, which is just a little wider or longer, whatever, compared to the 645, which is more of a little bit longer than a square, really. Yeah, that's what led me towards this camera, just the weight in general. Okay, so just to do a quick overview about my camera specifically, I do have a little attachment on here, which is the handle. I got the handle for about $35. It is very handy. It has a trigger in there, so I can shoot, you know, easier. It's easier to grip the camera. Without this, you're basically holding a box. So you're really shooting like this, you know, which isn't bad. It's not like it's uncomfortable or anything. However, I feel like the handle really makes it 10 times easier to, you know, maneuver. Yeah, so this is the original version of this camera. When I got this camera, okay, let me say this. I'm not 100% sure, because I did not know that this camera was completely, like, it's powered electronically. But I may have just, you know, like, played around with this a little too much when I did have it. I'm not sure exactly if it was broken before I purchased it. I ended up having to take off all of the leather and basically fixing it myself. So when you're taking it apart, you will have to take out all of the leather pieces, and because there's screws and stuff underneath for you to get into the actual mechanics of the camera. So after having to do that, when I was able to fix it, I ended up just buying some more leather, which I got on SD for about $35, and that's what this red leather is here on this camera. So it didn't originally come like this. I didn't buy it like this. I actually just added it on, and I'm really satisfied with it. I think it looks 10 times better than when I got it. So, because, you know, it's an old camera, so of course the leather is gonna wear, and it adds a little bit of customization, a little bit of personality into the camera. So I really enjoy that. This, I don't regret anything about having to rip it apart or making a purchase at all. Would I recommend it? I don't know. I just jumped head first into it and I did it. I do consider myself very handy, so it wasn't too much work, if you know what I mean. Like, it took me maybe an hour and a half to actually get the camera together and, you know, repair it. Okay, for the actual camera, I got it with this lens, which is the Mamiya Sector 80mm. This is the only lens I have for this camera. It's the only lens I shoot with this camera. I don't know, maybe I'll think about getting another lens, but honestly, I really do enjoy this lens, and I can get really close up to my subject with it, and that's what I enjoy doing. So I'm very much satisfied with it. It also came with another film back. This one is the 120. It also came with the 220 film back, which I don't usually shoot 220, so I don't use it often. It kind of just sits there. But yeah, you know, it's diverse. You can switch it around and stuff like that. It shoots up to 500 on the shutter speed. There are other versions can shoot up to 1,000, but honestly, I don't really shoot that with that fast of a shutter speed, so 500 is more than enough for me, honestly. I usually stick around 250 if I can, so, you know, it's not much of a big deal for me. The viewfinder is so clear. Honestly, I think that's my favorite thing about this camera, because the image looks great as soon as, like, when you look through the camera. Even like, you know, naturally over time these cameras are gonna collect dust and all that, but even with all that, it shoots so beautifully, and I really enjoy it. I'm gonna do a little clip so you guys can see it. I don't enjoy waist level finders as much as I do view level finders. I mean, I don't mind using it in the camera, you know. Sometimes, you know, it's better if you're shooting low, especially. So I don't necessarily not like it, but I haven't been pushed to buy a waist level finder. And honestly, if you really truly wanted to, you can use just the body of the camera, take off your prism finder and use the body of the camera as if it's a waist level finder. It will be a little bit harder to focus, when, you know, being that you can't see all the way if it's bright out and all that. However, it's not impossible. Like, I just focused right now to my phone and it wasn't that hard at all. I could hold it like this, you know, wind that thing up. I don't have filming here. And then also, oh my goodness, watching the shutter go off also does it for me. The sound of the shutter, hold on, listen to this. Like, tell me that don't hit. Tell me that don't hit. You feel me? Like, I just love everything about this camera. It's there for me. It's there for me, honestly. And yeah, it is compatible with a strobe. That's another thing that I really like about this camera, that you can use a strobe in the studio with it. So one thing with this camera, you probably want to have an extra battery on you at all times, because you never know when this is gonna die. They do have a little thing where you could check the battery, but it's always green. You never know when it's dying, honestly. So yeah, this is something that you definitely gonna want to hold a battery when you're shooting. So if I had to rate this camera, I'll rate it an 8 out of 10. It is a lovely camera. 8.5 out of 10, you know, because it is a lovely camera. But the only real problem is that when you originally have it without the grip, it can be a lot to just be carrying it around. I mean, it's not heavy at all. You can definitely tote it around in one hand, hold it on your side or whatever, but it's not 100% comfortable. With this grip, it is a 9 out of 10 for me. It is definitely a 9 out of 10 for me with the grip, because it makes it a whole lot easier to tote around and to capture shots, you know. This isn't a camera where you are able to rotate the back, you know, so like the RB or the RZ, where you can rotate the back and, you know, change the framing of your images from landscape to portrait. With the Mamiya M645, you physically have to turn the camera. It is always in landscape, and once you turn the camera, you're in portrait, baby. So, you know, the grip also helps a lot with that, with shooting in portrait, which is what most of my images are, portrait. So yeah, would highly recommend to anybody wanting to get into medium format or in film in general. It is a beautiful camera, and I haven't had any real issues with it that I wasn't able to fix myself. So yeah, this was just that, yeah, a quick little video about my baby, my Mamiya M645, and my experiences with it. This has always been my go-to film camera since I've got it. And it's not just because it looks really good, you feel me? It shoots even better than it looks. So yeah, it's a lovely camera. It is, and I would highly recommend to anybody. It's gonna be the end of this video. You guys like, comment, and subscribe if you aren't already, and leave some feedback in the comments of what I could have did different in this video, or what you liked about this video. You know, all feedback is 100% appreciated. And yeah, much love. Thank you for watching this video. See y'all in 2 weeks.